So the story of this beanie's creation is also an interesting one. Interesting, nice word for tragic one.
I would say interesting. I mean, like, hindsight, it was a fantastic experience.
Really? Well, what happened? Let's start there so
Yeah.
people know what we're talking about.
Basically, my house burned down.
Yeah.
From the wildfires, and you grew up there, so you probably know a lot of the areas that were affected.
Yeah.
And we were in the middle of working on this project, like that night of.
Wow.
And of all the stuff I grabbed, all the pieces we had cut on the laser cutter came with us.
That's so
like,
great.
I mean, we left all sorts of stuff, but mostly the beanie. Most of the beanie.
I wanted to acknowledge
I
that.
can't
like,
believe that.
you saved my
Saved
beanie.
your beanie.
And
But I always wonder, like, how many things did you get to save? I guess
So,
you knew it was coming?
Yeah, but the problem is nobody thinks their house is gonna.
Yeah, yeah.
So you kind of assume, like, what do I really need? If I am gonna lose all my stuff, what do I really care about? But what you realize in the end is I should have just spent an extra 20 minutes filling the car up. Like I brought my computer and like my tower, and I even felt kind of stupid for dragging it out of the house.
Because you don't expect.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm overreacting.
My house isn't gonna burn down.
I'm overreacting.
Right, and you know, I'm sort of in my head, like some of the stuff we do. I don't know how much of our videos you guys have watched, but like if anyone's gonna burn my house down, it's gonna be me.
Yeah.
Not nature. And nope.
So were your neighbors spared, or was it like a God was like, fuck you specifically?
Yeah, we got smited, but it's not. I don't know if it's entirely nature, but what happened was there was no water. So power went out. The pumps weren't replenishing the water tanks up on the hills, and so they were conserving water. Like fire trucks could not get water. So
They're conserving. They're like, sorry.
Well, it's. I mean, it kind of makes sense. So they go to a house. They see the garage is already on fire because we lived in a studio attached to the house that was a converted garage, and so they're like, let's conserve our water, save the house, and put out like minimally in between the house and the garage and just let the garage burn. What they didn't realize when we walked up and they're like, we saved the house, is that was our house.
Oh, no.
So the main house, the neighbors that lived in there were pretty much spared, minus their stuff that was actually in the, they still lost.
But it looked like, well, we have a clip, Dan. Can you roll it of because what I saw was just ruins.
Yeah.
It was apocalyptic.
Go
it
ahead,
was like straight up apocalyptic.
Do you have the clip, Dan?
Yo, what up? It's your boy here, William Osman, here with
This is a cut, right, Dan?
anticipated house tour.
Dan?
Things have changed. We moved some furniture
No, this one's
around,
not a cut,
and then
but
burned the whole
we got
place
the
to
idea at the
ground.
beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, you see the wreckage.
That's crazy.
So, Bajet,
I don't really know what I'm doing.
How was there anything spared? Because it looks like a total apocalypse there.
Well, the neighbor's house was totally fine.
Separate.
It's a detached unit, or mostly detached. There's like an awning between the two.
Right.
So the firefighters were basically trying to prevent it from spreading to the house instead of putting it, because they were literally running on no water.
Wow.
Like I think someone had like a quarter tank, and they're just saying, like, come up here, like come back up here, like we need.
You know, in all my time in Ventura, I mean, we both grew up there around the same time. Nothing like this ever happened. Not even close.
There's houses that are like, I mean, this is not like relatively old for Ventura, but you know, people think of a house 300 years old is old, but houses that had been there for 60, 70 years burned down, and it's like, you know, like.
I mean, fires happen, but never like.
Right.
That was
nothing like that.
insane.
But although that goes down as the #1 most destructive forest fire in California history, right?
I think so.
I just saw a
the
headline
Santa
that-
Rosa was, I think, more houses, but I think the Thomas fire was more
Acres.
acreage.
I just read like a week ago that they finally put out the last flame from this fire.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that's correct. The Thomas
What?
fire. Yeah, it lasted until just a couple weeks ago.
That's
But go ahead and just
unbelievable.
roll a little more so we can see the lay of the land.
How long has it been?
It's probably been, gosh,
6 months.
6 months.
Wow.
Like exactly, actually. I mean, this is kind of supposed to be a joke. We gotta look at what kind of drinks we've got. I'll show you the fridge. We got.
That's the fridge.
Oh, where's the?
Fuck.
Oh, there they are.
Oh my god.
We got LaCroix. The Crux.
Oh wow, they kind of lasted.
Looks like someone drank
They
them
made
all.
it.
I know. We do stuff. Might make this seem like it was our fault, but Ventura County has experienced a massive wildfire. The
Okay, you can
apartment
pause it.
complex blew.
I know you found one fork. That was the one remaining fork. Have you
Yeah.
cherished that fork?
I honestly don't know where the fork
Oh,
is.
no.
I think it might be. I don't have any place to keep stuff because I live in a motorhome at my parents' house right
Is
now.
that where you ended up relocating?
Yeah. So and people support. I mean, it was. I still feel like sort of like unworthy of the support we received, but
yeah, you guys got what, like 170,000?
Yeah, and it's sitting in an account, and it's like we weren't planning on buying a house, and I think a lot of people don't know how expensive houses are here, and they've never been through the house buying process. So like you have to prove income to get a loan, but the problem is we hadn't made any money the year. Well, I hadn't made any money the year previously.
We went through the same exact thing,
right? And so now we had to get our taxes done, which was a whole nightmare because of the fire, and you have to do all the casualty loss stuff. And I just hate doing taxes too. So do you
get help from the country for what happened?
I wonder that too.
So I think I don't even know what we lost. I mean, it's a lot of money worth of stuff gone, like replacement cost.
Not even the money, it's the time.
It's the time, because you can get something on Craigslist for cheap, and if
but like collecting a lifetime's worth of stuff, like how the F?
I think the total like government compensation was just a $5,000 reduction in your taxes.
No, that's it.
Man. Yeah. Of all the stuff we lost, that saved us about $5,000 in taxes, which is kind of sad.
Something.
It's not. Yeah,
I thought it would be a lot more.
I did too, and I did not realize because
like shit, house burned down coupon.
Right, because they were asking for fair market value. Like it's a percentage of fair market, or fair market value is a deduction. So it's not like replacement cost. Insurance is replacement cost depending on your type of insurance.
So when you lose every possession you've ever had, I'm just curious, what's the process like of like, okay, you go to the site, everything's gone. Like what do you do?
I think you don't know what to do, which is you don't know what to do. You sort of sit there and think about like, what do I do? I mean, it's a very lost feeling. It's not a good feeling. It's imagine everything stripped away. You don't know what you're doing the next day. You don't know what you're doing the next week. You don't know anything. And like, you don't know where you're going to live. Like my parents were out of the house too. We were living, my whole family living in the motorhome because the neighborhoods were locked off with National Guard and like armed Humvees and stuff. So it's a very sort of like, it's just like lost. You feel very lost. And the one thing we had going was like, well, we just keep making YouTube videos and we can do that. We have a camera. We have, we can make do.
That's the one really cool thing. You really don't need anything.
Like people said, take a break. We'll understand. And in the end, I think making more videos is kind of what made us feel like more whole, that we had a goal to accomplish. And now we had a, weird situation that we could continue doing videos in. It was like a new perspective, a new sort of angle. I don't know.
The weird thing, I know exactly what you mean. The weird thing for me is like stuff you don't think about, like you losing every article of clothing.
Yeah.
No clothes.
Yeah.
What do you have? How many outfits did you have?
I think I wore the same pair of underwear for 48 hours, and at that point I was like, we need to go to the store.
Just buy. It's so crazy to just be like, okay, I need underwear now.
Like you don't even realize that you just sit there and you're like, it's been 2 days and I haven't changed my clothes. Yeah.
What's the thing that you really were depressed about losing that maybe you didn't expect? But
I think.
Great question, Ela.
I don't know. I would have been really sad if we had lost hard drives. We had been keeping everything on external hard drives, and so we saved all of that, which
that's good.
That would have been devastating. Because we had videos filmed, and that was like losing. I mean, you guys filmed too. Imagine losing a whole video.
It happened once, and I've not forgotten.
Yeah, it's a terrifying experience.
But you didn't lose.
We didn't lose anything. Just it's tools. I mean, imagine the like. It wasn't having lost something. It was just not being able to sort of jump back into everything as instantaneously as you do every day. Like you wake up in the morning and I'd make breakfast every day. Now it's like, I can't do that. It's like we're going to Jack in the Box. We're going to like fast food places that are still open. And even that stuff shut down for a couple of days because the water pressure went low. So it, like you have potential water seepage into the water system. So then you can't consume fresh water for so many days. You have to boil everything.
What
it's just
the
like,
hell?
Yeah, like a boil. It was seriously, it was like, you've been to Universal Studios before on the tram tour and you go through the 747 or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like that. That's what it felt like, at least. And it did look like that, too, to some extent.